In this video, we are going to talk about absolute value equations. Recall that this number we call the absolute value of 6, even though there's a negative in front of it. And we call this the absolute value of 6. Well, the absolute value of -6 is 6. The absolute value of 6 is 6. Really, all they're saying is, how far away from 0 is -6? And how far away from 0 is 6? Well, they're both 6 because distance is never negative. You can't take a negative step. So the absolute value of -6 is 6. The absolute value of 6 is 6. All right. Notice the absolute value can never be negative. All right, don't forget that. Let me show you a couple of equations. So if we have the absolute value of x plus 6 equals 15. In order to solve this, we're going to have two answers. We always will have two answers. So you take this equation and write it like this. X plus 6 equals 15, and x plus 6 equals -15. And now all we do is solve those two equations. -6 on both sides, and x equals 9. So one of the answers is 9, and -6 on both sides, and one of the answers is -21. All right, if I were to graph this, I would say x can equal -21 and x can equal 9. All right, let's show another example. What if we have the absolute value of x plus 3 minus 10 equals -4? All right, before we can actually solve this problem, we have to get rid of the 10, the -10. To do that, we'll go +10. That goes away. Now what we have left is the absolute value of x plus 3 equals -4 plus 10 is +6. Now we can solve the equation. We have to set it up in two different equations. X plus 3 equals 6. X plus 3 equals -6. Again, -3 on both sides. X equals 3. And -3 on both sides. Notice we're adding negatives. X, it doesn't equal -3 or 3, it equals -9. So there are your two answers for this problem. But the first thing we had to do when solving this was get rid of the -10 first. Then we had our problem to set up with absolute value.